Good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the topic entitled Accounts Receivable Turnover Ratio. So this topic will cover about the definition and purpose, formula and computation, interpretation, real-life application, and the advantages and limitations. So now let's talk about the definition and purpose of this ratio. So the accounts receivable turnover ratio measures how efficiently a company collects revenue from its credit sales. It indicates the number of times, on average, that a company converts its accounts receivable into cash during a specific period. So this ratio is crucial in fundamental analysis as it reflects the effectiveness of a company's credit policies and collection efforts, directly impacting cash flow and liquidity. So this ratio is significant financial metric that gauge how effectively a company manages its receivables, providing insight into its operational efficiency. And also this ratio holds critical importance in financial analysis for several reasons. First is it directly influences cash flow, which is vital for the day-to-day operation of any business. Efficient collection practices enhance liquidity, enabling companies to meet short-term obligations without distress. So now let's talk about the formula to calculate the accounts receivable turnover ratio. So the accounts receivable turnover ratio is equal to the net credit sales divided by the average accounts receivable, where the net credit sales is the total sales made on credit excluding cash sales and returns, while the average accounts receivable is the average of the beginning and ending accounts receivable balances for the period. So we have here the examples. So let's calculate the ratio for Jollibee Foods Corporation using their financial data. So the net credit sales, according to GFC's financial statements, so their net sales for the year is 200 billion. So for the average accounts receivable from GFC's balance sheet, the accounts receivable at the beginning of the year were 8 billion pesos and at the end of the year it was 10 billion. So to get average account receivable, 8 billion plus 10 billion divided by 2 equals 9 billion. So for the calculation of accounts receivable turnover ratio, we have the 200 billion divided by 9 billion equals 22.22. So this means GFC collects its average accounts receivable approximately 22 times during the year.
So for interpretation, a higher accounts receivable turnover ratio indicates that a company is efficient in collecting its receivable, leading to better cash flow and liquidity. In JFC's case, a ratio of 22.22 suggests that a company effectively converts its credit sales into cash, which is favorable for its financial health. However, it's essential to compare this ratio with industry average to assess relative performance. The accounts receivable turnover ratio is really important because tell us how well a company is doing at collecting money from its sales and credit. A high ratio means the company is efficient, leading to better cash flow and overall financial health. So however, it's not just about having a high number. We need to compare it to industry average to see how the company stack up against its competitors. This way, we get a clear picture of its performance and can identify areas for improvement. In short, understanding this ratio helps us grasp how well a company manages its finance and maintains its growth. So for the real life application, investors and analysts use the account receivable turnover ratio to evaluate a company's credit policies and collecting efficiency. A consistently high ratio may indicate credit policy potentially limiting sales growth, while a low ratio could suggest lenient credit terms or effective collecting processes. For instance, if JFC's ratio is significantly higher than the industry average, It may indicate that a company is more stringent in its credit policy compared to its competitors. The account receivable turnover ratio is a vital tool for investors in analysis. When evaluating a company's credit practices and collection efficiency, in real life, a consistently high ratio can signal that a company has strict credit policies which might help with the cash flow but also slow down sales growth. On the other hand, a low ratio might point to more relaxed credit terms, but it could also indicate challenges in collecting payments.
So now that you have gained insights of what is the accounts receivable turnover ratio is, now let us move on to the advantages and its limitations. So first, we have here is the advantages. We have here is the efficiency indicator. This provides insight into how well a company manages its receivables and converts them into cash. So basically, this ratio tells how good a company is at collecting money from customers who bought on credit. A high ratio means they're quick at turning credit sales into cash. So, second one is liquidity assessment. This helps the company's ability to meet short-term obligations. So, such as it helps us understand if the company has enough cash flow to pay its short-term bills. So, and lastly, we have here is the credit policy evaluation. This assists in evaluating the effectiveness of a company's credit and collection of policies. So, basically, this ratio helps analyze how well the company sets and enforces its credit rules, like how much credit to give customers and how fast they should pay. And for the last topic, which is the limitations of account receivable turnover ratio. So first we have here is the industry variations. The ratio can vary significantly across industries. Thus, comparisons are most meaningful within the same industry. So these businesses in differences of the different industries collect payments and different speeds. So this ratio is only useful when comparing companies in the same industry. And second limitation is seasonal fluctuation. So companies with seasonal sales may experience fluctuations in this ratio, requiring adjustments for accurate analysis. Companies will be busy and slow seasons, like retail stores might show fluctuating ratios. This can be tricky to understand the real efficiency. And the last the last limitation is the credit terms impact. So a high ratio might result from overly strict credit terms, potentially limiting sales growth. So basically, a very high ratio might mean that a company is strict with giving credit, which could not hurt the sales because customers might buy on credit. And lastly, before that, we will end our report. So, in summary, while the accounts receivable turnover ratio is a valuable tool for assessing a company's efficiency in managing receivables, it should be used in conjunction with other financial metrics and industry benchmarks for a comprehensive analysis. So basically, guys, this ratio is helpful for how quickly a company collects payments, but it's not perfect. So to get the full picture of a company's financial health, you should also look at other financial measures and compare them with the similar companies. So, thank you, and once again, good day.